Hi everyone, my name is Shakeel. I'm really excited to welcome you to my brand new online teaching series for Class 10 CBSE students. This is going to be a complete step-by-step journey through your mathematics syllabus, but explained in a way that's clear, practical, and easy to remember. A little about me. I've been passionate about teaching ever since I've completed my 10th. I was good in mathematics, so in fact, I started teaching right after my school. Started teaching my juniors, classmates, and even college friends with mathematics. I've cleared India's toughest examinations like Indian Air Force, Indian Coast Guard, SSC CGL, SSC CHSL, and some private competition exams as well. Professionally, I have worked with Amazon, and right now I'm working with Unilever, where I work with data and numbers every single day. This mix of academic and industry experience means I know how math works in theory as well as in real life. So let's start our journey from the very basics. Before we talk about real numbers in detail, let's first understand what exactly are numbers and where do real numbers fit in. So numbers are values we use to count, measure, or label things. That's everywhere. In the money we use, the distance we travel, the time we read on the clock, or the temperature we measure, everywhere. In math, all numbers belongs to a huge family called number system. At the very top of this family tree, we have numbers which split into different branches. One branch is real numbers. These are all the numbers you can place on a number line. Let me share my screen to explain you in a bit more detail. As I was talking about the numbers, a big family tree, so these are the numbers. It includes everything. So in this family of numbers, we have imaginary numbers and we have real numbers. Before I even talk about the full list of real numbers, I want you to stay focused here. The only reason why I'm trying to help you understand not just real numbers, also from the very beginning, is when I have experienced this while I was in school. I only read about real numbers, but then later on, when complex numbers came in, when imaginary numbers came in, I got confused. So for your understanding, just for the understanding, you don't have to remember as well. It's just for as initial part, you need to know what all numbers are and what you need to focus on. Okay. Now, so imaginary numbers are the ones, for example, minus root of -1, root of -2, we consider them as imaginary. And then we have real numbers. Real numbers are any of the numbers where you can write it on a number line. For an example, let's draw a number line here. Okay, so here it is 0, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. So within this number line, whatever the numbers that you can put in will be considered as real numbers. Forget about their names. First, try to understand what exactly real numbers and how these are differentiating from the imaginary. So here I can calculate 0.5. I can write this as 1.2. Okay. So here I can put 1 by 2. Here I can put 1.5. Blah blah blah. So all of these fractions, decimals, everything is considered as real numbers. Okay, so these are real numbers. For the imaginary numbers, you cannot put this on a number line. So what are these? Example, -1, root of -1 is considered to be imaginary. Also, there is a combination of imaginary numbers and real numbers. Let me write it down here, which is real number is, let's say I'm taking the here we have an example. Okay, so we also have a combination of real number and imaginary number, which is example 3 plus 2y. So this is a combination of real number plus imaginary number. These are called complex numbers. So good part is you don't have to worry for now about these two. Okay, I'm only going to focus on this part. Okay, now let's talk about real numbers. So when I say real numbers include 1, 2, 3, 0, -1, -2, 0.5, anything that you can think of that can be kept on a number line. Done? Understood? Now, within this, we have rational and irrational numbers. How do you segregate rational and irrational numbers? It's very simple. Rational are the ones which can be written in P by Q form. So what do you mean by P by Q form? Any number that can be put in numerator and denominator form are considered as rational numbers. As simple as that. But Q should not be equal to 0. Because once we divide any number with 0, it turns out to be infinite. That's the only condition we have. So the 0.25 is can also be written as 1.4. Minus 5 is minus 5 by 1. Some of you might be thinking, how can minus 5 is P by Q form? So here Q is 1. Anything that you divide by 1 will be the number same itself. Okay, you need to understand this. My handwriting is quite different. I hope you guys will be coping up with my writing though. Okay, now since we have eliminated or we have already covered imaginary, complex, let's forget about it. Let's now come to the actual part or the real part, which is real numbers. Okay, real numbers themselves have two main types. One is rational and another is irrational. Okay, so what's the difference between these two? Rational numbers are the ones that can be written in P by Q form. You don't have to worry about the notes. I'm going to provide it for you. Just comment notes in the comment section. I'm going to send it directly to your email. Okay, so the rational numbers should be in P by Q form, where Q should not be equal to 0, and irrational numbers, these cannot be in P by Q form, cannot be written in P by Q form. Okay, now example for P by Q form or irrational numbers are 1 by 2. This is 0.5, right? 1 by 3, 0.33. So another thing that you need to consider when it comes to rational numbers is these are, if you see the decimal, it is ending, and after 0.5 there is nothing. Either it should be ending, decimal should be ending, and after after certain number it should end. Either decimal ends or terminates, or they should be repeating pattern. For 1 by 3, 3 3 3 3 3 3 goes on and on. So repeat. These are the two conditions. This is one and this is the other one. So these are the only two conditions that you need to remember for. Out of all the number systems, we have real numbers and imaginary and composite. Forget about this. Now we have real numbers. Within these real numbers, we have two branches or two types, which is rational number and irrational number. What are rational number? Rational number are the ones which can be put in a form of P by Q. P by Q, where Q should not be equal to 0. Why? Because whenever you divide something with 0, it turns out to be infinite. Clear? Very good. I'm going to repeat the same logic or same explanation very often so that it can be in your head for quite some time. Okay. Now, what are irrational numbers? As I have told you, this cannot be written in P by Q form. So their decimal goes on forever without repeating. For an example, root 2. Root 2 is 1.4142 blah 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 blah. So if you see, there is no repeating pattern, neither the number is stopping. That's why this cannot be a rational number. Another example is pi. You know what is pi? Everybody should know what is pi. You are in 10th class, of course. If not, pi is considered as the value for 22 by 7. So the value is 3.1459 blah 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 blah. Okay. So both of these, if you see, pardon my handwriting please. I have a very good handwriting, however, because of the pen tab, I cannot on the screen. Okay. Okay. So if you see, these are non-repeating and non-ending, non-terminating, you can call it as. Clear? That's it. As simple as that. Now you can eliminate irrational numbers also. Irrational numbers are done. Okay. Now we were able to understand we have a number family tree. Within that we have imaginary number. So now in real numbers we have two branches, which is rational numbers and irrational numbers. Irrational numbers is done, which are non-repeating and non-ending. So let's cut this out. Now let's understand rational numbers. Okay, so within rational numbers we have two types. One is integers and one is fractions and decimals. So integers are like -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, blah blah blah. And then we have fractions. Fractions are what is 1/2, 0.75, etc., etc. Okay, so again, you are able to understand fractions and decimals, right? So let's remove this now. Now within integers we have again two. So whatever, if you are seeing, we have 0, we have 1, we have 2, we have -1, everything. So including 0 till the positive numbers are whole numbers. Anything which is before 0 are negative integers. Clear? So within integers we have whole numbers and we have negative integers. Whole. Okay, this was the trick that I used to do in when I was child. So whole, whenever I say whole, my pronunciations goes round. So I used to remember it that way. So whole numbers start with 0 and then goes on and on. So any whole numbers are the ones which start with 0 and all the positive things which are on the right side are whole numbers. Anything before 0 is negative integer. Okay. So within integers, what do we have? Whole numbers and negative integers. Negative integers we have already covered. Now in whole numbers we have natural numbers. So apart from 0, 0 is separate. 1, 2, 3, 4, these are natural numbers. Okay, this is the last part. So within natural numbers we have two. One is prime number, one is composite number. Okay, prime numbers are the ones which can be either divided by itself or 1, which means let me write it down. So prime numbers are the ones which can be divided by itself or 1. So basically they can get divided by only itself. Example 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. You cannot divide 2 with any other number. You cannot divide 3 with any other number except 1. So 2 divided by 1 is 2 only. But for composite, for an example 4, 6, 8, you can divide 4 by 2. You can divide 4 with 2, and basically their factors are maximum 2 factors they have. But here we have more than 2 factors. For an example, 4 can be written as 2 cross 2, 4 can be written as 4 cross 1, 4 can be written as 1 cross 4. So it is more than 2. See, it has more than 2 factors, which means these are composite numbers. Let me rephrase everything now. So within the number family, we have imaginary and real numbers, and again a composition mixture of imaginary and real numbers is called complex number, and within real numbers we have a lot. Let me take you to this diagram. Yes, Here we go. So these are the real numbers. So within real numbers, we have rational number, we have irrational number. Irrational number are the ones, for an example, pi, root 2, blah blah. Rational numbers are the ones which are which have a pattern and which are in p by q form. Okay, which have a pattern that ends or repeats. Decimal never ends, and pattern doesn't repeat. Here, pattern repeats, and we have an end to a decimal. Clear? Within rational numbers, we have integers. Within integers, we have whole numbers. Within whole numbers, we have natural numbers. Okay, clear? That's it. I'm not going to take more now. Everything is covered.